What's up, everybody? Jump in here. Hey guys, I am back with the Skyrim Legendary walkthrough, and in this episode, it's going to be a little different. There's not going to be really much of anything. It's just, this whole episode is going to be dedicated to one perk, and that is Necromage. And it's going to be all about crafting and what you can do with the perk Necromage. Now, the reason why I bring this up is because in the last episode, we went ahead and we completed the Dawnguard DLC. So once you complete that DLC, at any point you can have Serana turn you into a vampire lord, and there you go. So that's kind of the idea. So now I'm going to really start to exploit my ass off with Necromage and show you a couple things you can do with this. Necromage, in my opinion, is the best perk in the game. Let me go ahead and show you this. It comes from Restoration skill. It requires a 70 in Restoration to actually get the perk. It's right over here. What it says it does, but it does a lot more than what it says. It says all spells are more effective against undead. But somewhere along the line when they were making this game, I guess they messed up with this perk or something. And it's true that yes, when you have this perk, all spells, destruction spells, whatever, are stronger, are more effective against undead creatures and enemies. But when you're a vampire, you are counted as undead. So this perk gives you a 20% bonus or a 25% bonus to literally almost anything magical as you're a vampire. So that's what you have to keep in mind. Anything that relates to magic. So the question is, what is magic in this game? Well, there's a lot of things that are counted as magic. Primarily, the best thing is active effects. Now, one thing about this whole commentary and this whole thing about Necromage, I gotta be honest, it can be a little confusing. So you're gonna have to kind of just follow what I say, what I do, and hopefully you can actually understand everything I'm talking about here. But yes, it is true, this can be a little complicated. But let's go ahead and just talk about this. So active effects, they are counted as magics. What are active effects? That's the first thing you might wonder. Active effects come from buffs. Anything that will buff you in the game, make you better, is basically an active effect. So when you're talking about Necromage and you're talking about active effects, that's the best thing it does. Let me give you an example real quick. So I already have became a vampire. If you can't tell by my eyes, I have Necromage perk. It doesn't really matter which order you do that in. You can get Necromage, then become a vampire. It doesn't really matter. But like I said, once you complete Dawnguard DLC, at any time, you can talk to Serana and you can ask her. I don't have the option because I've already done it, but there should be an option that will say, can you turn me into a vampire lord? So you just can ask her that, and she'll say, are you sure you want to do that? You say yes. She'll turn you into a vampire lord. So once you are a vampire, it doesn't matter if you're a vampire lord or just a vampire. That does not matter. As long as you're a vampire, then you will get the benefit from Necromage. So let me go ahead and show you something real quick. It's pretty cool. Let me go ahead and unequip some stuff just to kind of show you this whole thing. Actually, I don't know why I unequipped everything, but it really doesn't matter. Let's just go ahead and talk about this real quick. So here's a helmet, right? It says on the helmet that created potions are 32% more powerful. So that's what it says. Let me go ahead and equip it now. So as you know, it still says the same thing. Potions, 32% more powerful. Now, because of Necromage, that active effect is going to be buffed. I don't know the actual buff. It could be 20% better, 25% better. I don't really know. But let's go ahead and take a look at our active effects real quick. So here it is up here. Fortify. It's Fortify alchemy or potions. Created potions are 40% more powerful. So something just changed there. It went from 32% to now 40%. So that comes from Necromage. That's why Necromage is so amazing, is because of this. The active effects become more powerful. So what you can do with this, you can do a lot. There's so many different things you can do with Necromage. But the best thing, in my opinion, and the thing I like to do, is to use it to make different pieces of armor for crafting, meaning making potions for enchanting, smithing, all of that. So that's basically the idea here. So I've already started this process a little bit ago, where the actual cap in the game, if you use the Falmore's helmet glitch, there's a glitch in the game where you can equip this helmet, and you can equip any type of crown-like thing. These, like, I don't know, tiaras, whatever. Like, they're basically crowns in the game. So I can equip that, and it will remain equipped. And if you look, I will still have the Falmore's helmet on as well. So what that does is that gives me a double bonus to potion making, to alchemy buffs. So I get basically 2 buffs for the price of 1. You can do the same thing with archery. That's the other thing that's very useful with this glitch. If you want to do that, make your archery a lot better, you can do the same thing. I don't really do that. I think just making your potion making is the best way to go. Alright, so we have that on now. Let's go ahead and find a couple of these other ones, like here's a necklace. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do when you're doing this, and if you're ever talking about crafting and making items, you want to make several necklaces. If you can't tell, I have like 2 extra, 3 extra rings, and all this kind of stuff. So here's my ring, 32% more powerful. Equip that. I need to find, doesn't really matter about the armor. I'll just put a set of armor on. When you're talking about potion making, armor and boots, they don't get the benefit, so you don't have to worry about that as much. We already have the bracers on, but there's the bracers. And I think that's everything. I have the necklace, the ring, the Falmore's helmet, the crown, and the bracers. So let me just take a look at myself. Yeah, I should be good to go. I have like all these active effects now to boost my alchemy. So 40%, 40%, 40%. So you get the idea. Like, that's a lot of bonuses to alchemy. Now, what I can do is this. I can go and make me a potion. Oh, wait. I am tripping. I am at an enchanting table. I can make me a potion at an alchemy lab for fortify enchanting. That's what I'm going to be doing. So I don't have much ingredients for this, but I only really probably want 1. If you can't tell, it says potions are 40, or enchanting potion is 40, or enchantments. I'm a little off today, I gotta be honest, but enchantments are 45% stronger. So I'm just gonna make 1 of these real quick. I might have to make more, but you know, hopefully I can just get this done. You know what? I'll make 2, just in case, because there's a good chance I will run out of time as I'm doing this, because I'm gonna try to maybe name some of these armors. Now, another really cool thing about Necromage, like I said, all active effects will be buffed. Every single active effect you have, as long as you apply it. Now that's where this shit gets a little complicated, I gotta be honest. Necromage only affects things that are applied once you actually have the Necromage perk and you're a vampire. So a good example, like Ancient Knowledge here. I got Ancient Knowledge earlier in the game. So this is a perk. I can't reapply this. There's no way. I can't go undo the quest and then redo the quest to acquire this perk. Now, if I would have waited, and I talked about this in my walkthrough, if I would have waited to get this perk until, waited until I was a vampire necromage, then this would have been, I would have benefited from the active effect thing, from necromage. This would have been better. So right now, it's 25% Dwemer armor, 15% improved smithing. This is a very good perk in the game. I highly recommend it. And if you wait, for example, until you're a Necromage vampire, you'll get a better bonus from this. So, basically, what I'm saying here is that any active effect, like Champion of the Night, well, I guess Champion of the Night might be benefited. I'm not too sure. But certain active effects, they won't actually benefit unless you wait to apply them. That's the thing. You have to become the Necromage vampire and then apply those effects. Like equip the armor pieces, for example. Also acquire certain new perks or something. Like that's the way to think of it. I know that can be a little complicated, but that's basically what it is. Alright, so anyway, now let's go ahead and try to make us a couple more pieces of armor. First thing I should probably check out and see is if I have another Falmore's helmet in my lineup here, because I might not, and that will screw me. Alright, but lucky for me, I have Serana. She will have one of these. I gave her a couple of them in the last episode of my walkthrough, so she has one helmet. I'll take that just in case. Now, let me go ahead and show this real quick. So, I'm going to... Okay, first thing I'm going to do is, just because these potions don't matter, because I won't be using them, I'm going to use one of these potions. 37% stronger enchantments. Now you can get a general idea. So potions as well. If I use a potion, that potion will actually be, because it also counts as an active effect, it becomes more powerful. So if you look, for 45 seconds, items are enchanted 46% stronger, where the actual potion I applied was 37%. So when I go ahead and I use this other potion here, for 45%, you know, it's going to benefit. It's going to be a lot more than 45%. So let's go ahead and use that. You can actually tell when you're making an item, because if you look, it says 57, 157 bonus. So that's the thing. Alright, so let's go ahead and apply alchemy to this. And this is where it gets a little tricky. Smithing as well. This is the cap in the game. Well, it's not the total cap, but it is a cap. The only way to increase this higher is to actually get a certain armor set in Dragonborn DLC. There's an armor set, I can't remember the name of it, but it gives you a plus 10 to enchanting. So you can actually get this up. With that, the cap is 36% for smithing and potion making. 36% is the cap with that. But if you do not have Dragonborn DLC, the cap is 33%. And that's using the Falmore's helmet glitch, Necromage, and all this. 33% is the cap. So what I like to do when I'm making like a crafting armor set, I just name it the percentage. So 33 is fine. I name all the pieces 33 because it will be at the top of my list. I'll show you that in a second. Anytime I want to make something, I just pull up my apparel, and then everything on the top will be my crafting stuff, and I just equipped it all. That's the whole purpose of naming it 33. And that's what I would recommend to you guys as well, just to make your life a little easier when you're playing this game. Alright, so 33%, we're going to apply that. Now we need to hurry up because we don't want that effect to wear off right away. So once again, smithing, go up to alchemy, and then name it again for the ring, 33%. Apply it. Let's go ahead and make the necklace now. So alchemy, hurry up and scroll down to smithing, and then finally the gem, and then we're going to name this 33%, or 33, it's fine. Now we need to make the Falmore's helmet. Now for helmets, only alchemy matters, so just put the alchemy effect on there. You don't need to worry about smithing. You cannot apply smithing to helmet pieces. So that also is for the crown that we're about to make, the silver crown. Okay, see, like, boom, I lost the effect, so 25% now. Let me go in and back out of that. Reapply my potion of enchanting. Now let's go do this one more time. So first thing is going to be the helmet. Oh, I already made that helmet, my bad. I need to make the little crown or whatever. So there, alchemy, and we're gonna name it 33%. So I believe that was all the pieces. Take a look. Yeah, that was everything. So that's the cap until I play Dragonborn, and until I get the certain armor that will give me a plus 10 to enchanting. So now, if I go up, see what I'm saying here, like at the top. Oh, you know what I just thought of? Oh, crap. Oh, I just thought of something. I need to hurry up and do this before my thing messes up. Now, armor doesn't really matter, but yeah, you do want to buy an armor piece because you can put smithing on an armor piece. So there you go. So 33 for the armor. And there, that's it. So, alright. Now we back out. So now, if you look at the top here, I have 33, all these names. You know, anytime if I'm like, oh, I want to make me an item, I'll come to where an enchanting table is or an alchemy table, pull up my apparel, and I'll just select everything on the top. And I know that that's my, you know, numbers take priority. So that these things are on the top, and then it's A, B, C, D, alphabetical. So that's it. Alright, now, because of Necromage, all these benefits are actually going to be higher than what they say they are. So let's take a look. So my active effects for alchemy is 41%. And that's same with weapon smithing. So all my weapons will be 41% stronger. So it's very good. Also, we can make because now we have like a really good armor, we can make potions of fortify, enchanting. You know, this is just for making weapons. 46% better enchantments is the cap until you can get the armor from Dragonborn. So make the one potion. Obviously, you can make potions for enchanting weapons and armors and all that. You know, for combat or whatever you're gonna make. Like, and now smithing the same way. 184%. Now, once again, you gotta remember when you apply this, if you have the Necromage perk and you're a vampire, that will be a lot higher. I'm not gonna show all that. I guess I could maybe be able to do that. It doesn't really matter. I'll just show it. I'll just waste the potion real quick just to kind of show you. You know, it says 184%. I apply it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at my active effect. So here it is. 230% better smithing because of Necromage. It's pretty amazing. Alright, so that is how you're going to make your... That is how you basically are going to make your crafting armor. You can make an armor set yourself too, like, you know, I don't know, dragon bone armor or Daedric armor, whatever armor you want to make, and any bonuses you apply to it will be benefited. Now, one thing about Necromage, I'm not a fan of really using it for combat. Now, there's a reason for that, is because you make yourself a little bit too overpowered if you're going to use it for combat. And what I mean is this. If you take a look at, let's say, here we go, my helmet here. 48% more powerful damage, or more, basically, my bows will do 48% more damage. So that's really good. Let me go ahead and equip that real quick. Now, if I take a look at my active effects, and I look at my archery, 60% more damage. So, I mean, oh my god, you can do so much damage with your weapon. It makes the game not as fun, and, you know, when you're talking about all that smithing too, if you were to take like a certain, like a dragon bone sword, and then you smith it, it's gonna do so much damage, and then you buff the crap out of it with your armor, you'll one-hit everything practically, and the game's not going to be as fun. So for combat, I'm not a fan of Necromage. So what I like to do is this. I like to actually make my armor set, you know, be done with it, and then I'll go and cure myself of the vampire disease so I don't actually benefit from all these active effects in combat. It's very important to me, and that's what I'm going to do. But before we do that, there's one other thing that we're going to do, and it's amazing. We are going to get 100% spell absorption. Now, what a lot of people don't understand, because I see comments like this all the time. They're like, jump in, there's a cap to magic resistance. It's 85%. Okay, yes, that is true. But when I'm talking about spell absorption, I'm not talking about magic resistance. There's a difference. You have the spell absorption, you have magic resistance. One, you resist magic, the other one, you absorb it. So, I mean, there's a big difference there. And when you're talking about 100% spell absorption, you're talking about not taking damage from any form of magic. And I mean any form of magic. It's so amazing. And it's very useful, especially for like legendary difficulty, because dragons will drop you so quick if they use their dragon's breath on you. You'll die so fast from magic. You know, you've seen me die in the actual walkthrough from like mages. Like they just hit me with a couple spells, vampires, whatever, and I just go down so quick. So spell absorption is very cool, very good. So what we're going to do is we're going to get 100% spell absorption. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So we need to leave up out of here. If you don't know where I was in Solitude. I should probably show this because this is something that you guys might, if you're like, oh man, I really want to go do that now, but then you don't know where to get the crowns. Because the crowns, you cannot craft them. Like, you can make necklaces, you can make rings and all that, but you cannot craft those crowns. So you have to find them in the game. But there is one place in the game I know for a fact you can buy them at any point. And one other thing, another thing about the whole vampire thing, I do like to cure it because I hate being a vampire. Every time you walk out of a door, you just leave up out into the sunlight. You're like, ah, my eyes! Like, it's just so bright. It can be kind of annoying. But anyway, this shop right here in Solitude it's basically like if you were to come to Solitude, it's the very first shop on the right. But this shop, inside of there, they will sell the crowns. They sell a lot of good stuff too. Like, it's a whole bunch of different outfits and rings and necklace. But this is by far the best place in the game if you want to acquire certain enchantments that you might not have. Like, let's say you do not have Fortify Alchemy. You're just starting the game, you don't have Fortify Alchemy, or you don't have Fortify two-handed weapon damage. So if you come here, there's a good chance they're going to be selling an item in there that will already have that enchantment that you can go and break down. So keep that in mind. Very good shop. You can buy the crowns there, and you can buy certain enchantments. So now, we are going to go down here in the rift, and there's a stone that you need to find. It's right here, smack dead in the middle. It's just south of Windhelm. So if you just follow, like, pretty much from the Windhelm stables, you go south, you will find this place. It's the Astronaut Stone. I always say that wrong. I say, like, astronaut, haha, star and spaceman. I don't know. I can't talk right. I have a speech impediment. You know, T's and R's and just H's, they just don't come out of my mouth right. So I'm sorry, you can flame me, you can make fun of me, it doesn't bother me at all, so just go right ahead. But I'm just trying to help everybody out with this whole spell absorption thing. But you need to come to this stone, the Astronaut Stone, alright? So, once we get here, this stone is by far the best stone in the game. There's a couple really good ones, but this one is the best one. Because it gives you 50 points of extra magic, which is really good. It gives you a negative 50% magic regeneration, which doesn't really matter, I'll be honest, because you can buff that to be really, really amazing. And the final thing it does is it gives you a 50% spell absorption. So that is the one that's amazing. That's the number one, because, like, spell absorption is just so good. Now, so let's go to alteration. You got to get your alteration maxed out for this, 100. It's really easy if you have telekinesis and a certain armor set to buff your alteration cost, so alteration will cost no magic to cast. If you have that telekinesis spell, you can just drop any piece of armor on the ground and you just sit there and you hold it. And it takes about maybe 15 minutes to go from 15 to 100, but you can go watch TV or whatever, you get it up to 100. Also, with this DLC, it's really good, not this DLC, but this update, the legendary update. It's very good to use that to actually, like, level up, to boost your level really quickly, because it's such an easy thing to do. Anyway, so once you get to this to 100, and you are a Necromage vampire, you want to wait. Go ahead and go up the tree, just the middle of the tree, until Expert. I have one perk left. And yes, there's a skill in here called Astronaut. And it gives me 30% magic or spell absorption. So it's 30%. But because I'm a Necromage vampire, when I go for this, it will be buffed and give me 37.5%. So that's the difference. So instead of 30, it's 37.5. So there you go. Boom. The second I get this, it's 37.5. Now, the actual stone here, this gives me, now I can show you in the active effects. The active effect actually lies, though. That's one thing you have to realize. This is not true. It says 50 points of magic, which in reality, I think it's 62.5 points of magic. 50% spell absorption, it's actually 62.5. So when you add up the math, 62.5 with 37.5, it's 100% spell absorption. Alright guys, so I'm going to now go ahead and demonstrate some spell absorption for you and kind of talk about it. I went ahead and edited the video to somewhere where I know there's going to be mages that's going to hit me with magic attacks and all that. Alright, so spell absorption. You'll see this in a moment when I find some enemies to actually attack me with magic. But, alright, spell absorption. It does so much. And if you watch my legendary walkthrough or the remaining of it, you will see this a lot. But yeah, it does a lot. First thing is that you will take 0 damage from all magic attacks in the game. Like from this mage that you're watching right now. They're attacking me, I'm taking no damage. And every time you see that blue aura appears, it means I am absorbing the spell. Also, if I was to cast magic myself, I will regain the magic that they're shooting at me. So, you'll see it right now. I use up that, and I'm just gaining magic from, free magic, basically. Very awesome. Dragon's Breath attacks. All Dragon Breath attacks in this game are counted as magic. So, literally, every time you fight a dragon, you don't have to worry about the Dragon's Breath attack because you will absorb 100% of it. Another thing is, you will resist all forms of disease, like any disease that you would normally get. I mean, obviously, if you're a vampire, you get 100% like, you're immune to disease. But if you wanted to cure your vampire, if you wanted just to go ahead and cure it, like I said, this will not go away. If you cure your vampire disease, you will still have 100% spell absorption as long as you were a Necromage when you actually went ahead and got the whole thing set up. So basically, yeah, you will never get a disease. 100% absorption of poison. Poison, believe it or not, is counted as magic for some reason. So you will never be poisoned again. You will absorb 100% of all poison. Another thing too, if an enemy is using a enchanted weapon, like let's say with a fire attack on it or something, you will take no damage from that. Same with debuffs. If an enemy was to try to debuff you in some way, you will absorb it. You will not be debuffed in any way. The final thing, and one of my favorite things about spell absorption, is shouts. Any shout attack that you will be hit by, it is counted as magic. So you will absorb the shout. Like, the best example of that is the Draugrs, are the zombie guys, the Nords. Like, when you fight them, they'll constantly use, at higher levels, Unrelenting Force and knock you down. That will never happen again, or at least you won't take any damage from it. I think you won't be knocked down by it either, but really good. The only shout in the game, for some reason, that will still hit you is Drain Vitality. Drain Vitality, yes, it's a shout, but when you're fighting legendary dragons, you will still be hit by that, and it will still do, like, damage to you and all that. So, that's the only shout that will hit you. So, basically, when you're talking about spell absorption, nothing will hurt you that is not physical damage. Only physical damage can actually damage you. It's absolutely amazing. It's a lot of fun, and believe me, Necromage is awesome. Like, from the rest of my legendary walkthrough, I'm going to be having this, at least my spell absorption. I will not have the vampire disease anymore. I'm going to cure it, because I don't like it for combat. Like I said, you make your weapons and everything way too powerful, and it can be, like, just too easy, but spell absorption's awesome. Necromage is awesome. I hope you have enjoyed this. Please give me a like, favorite, and all that, and peace!